So we are live, my friends. So everybody, welcome to Metahumans Mondays. We've got an exciting new show today. So with us today, let's stop in the top right. You guys are all familiar with Boy Blunder, Francisco. How are you doing
What's
today,
up,
brother?
everyone? Pretty good, pretty good.
Awesome. And then to the top left, Jose, you wanna give your introduction?
Hey everybody, Jaybird, known from the auctions and from the store. Hey guys.
And then to the bottom right, new special guest, Martin. How are you doing, Martin?
Hey guys, glad to be here. Really excited to talk about some cool stuff.
So we've got a lot of stuff we're gonna deep dive into today. But I think you guys know the main topic we're gonna go over today, which is Eternals, because the Eternals trailer dropped. Um, so before we get, I think someone's got the YouTube. Martin, did you put down the video, the volume on the YouTube?
Yeah, how's that?
Think so, yeah. Just so it wouldn't bounce off. Awesome, dude. Cool. So, first slide in, we get this like poster of the cast, so to speak. And we've got actually, I'm just noticing that right now. We've got everyone on this poster except for Angelina Jolie. You guys notice that? I barely saw that right now. Huh. So we've got everybody but Angelina Jolie on this poster. And I wonder why.
Who is she playing again? Athena?
Yes.
Yeah, fake Athena. Well, her character's based on Athena.
Yeah. But yeah, she's not on here, which is kind of funny because the next slide I'll put it has her on it. But I'm gonna be honest up front. I'm not really like super impressed with the costumes, I guess. I don't know. It's not like jumping out at me so crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Feel like there was a little something more missing from it. But next slide in, you could see Angelina Jolie, which is the biggest, I guess, celebrity name in the film, and you do see her in the costume in the back. I'm curious why she was excluded from a lot of the other promo though. She's got to be a major part of this, right? But trailer dropped, and let's go with your guys' reactions. We'll start with you first, Martin, to my right here. Go for it, dude. Let's get your opinions on this. We all watched it, so.
This was a teaser, so I wasn't expecting too much, and there wasn't really a lot of dialogue or story setup, just a very basic premise. What really excited me was it was all shot with a very large scale. They really wanted us to feel big, especially when the shot when they're running on the island, the beach shot with all the natives. I haven't really felt anything like that from a Marvel movie, that large atmosphere since like the original Thor. I'm looking here at the director, and it's Chloe Zhao.
Hmm.
I'm not too familiar with her work at all, but she did direct Nomadland, which is another film where a lot of empty landscapes, a lot of space. So it's cool to see that translate here. I'm not familiar with Eternals at all. That's one of the properties that I've probably never read a single book. So it's really exciting for me when I get to see one of these Marvel movies and go in blind and not have such a critical eye, or that little fanboy head in the back of your background's like, oh, that's not right, or oh, they got that right. So I get to go in blind and just enjoy it as a movie. It looked really serious until that ending portion where they threw that little gag in there. That felt more Marvel to me.
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of the studio's way of saying, yes, this is different, but it's still going to have that Marvel flair that y'all are used to.
Yeah. And you know what? That little tidbit at the end, I'm tripping out because the lead, I think it's, who is the actor? Richard Madden, I think it's, or the lead in the movie right now. For some reason, I got it confused. And or Dane Whitman, is it him? But I thought it was the guy who played Bucky in Captain America for a second.
Right? They look weirdly similar.
It wasn't him, right?
No, it
That's
wasn't.
Yeah, I was tripping on that. I was like, cause the joke made it seem like that was that, you know? Like, cause
Yeah.
he's like, who's gonna take over Captain America's place? And it's like he's Bucky, you know?
The
So
jawline, bro, and the hair, it was very similar. I had to take a double take too.
yeah, that was weird, man.
Man.
Yeah, that threw me off. It's almost like they picked someone who looked a little bit too much like that actor, which I don't know if I would have done from a casting perspective, you know, but yeah, that's the way they went with it, right? Yeah. Francisco.
I actually had the exact same reaction. Oh, he looks just like Bucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, you look closer, like, oh, it's not. And
It's
it's
not.
funny you see that, maybe the Marvel universe has gotten so big that they just can't hire actors who don't look like each other anymore.
Or you know what, man? Maybe they did it on purpose so they can be like, hey, they're related somehow. Do some like timeline crap or something like
They're
that.
gonna
or,
tie him in. They're gonna be like, Martha. That's my mom's man.
it's like, oh, Bucky was here, like generations ago and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, Francisco. Let's hear your
Back
thoughts,
off.
bro.
What's up?
Let's hear your thoughts, brother.
I'm with Martin on this. Like, I'm also going in blind, but I honestly didn't think of it like that, where it's like we're actually jumping into this because I'm not really like known about the Eternals much at all. It's a little. So I'm pretty excited to actually jump into this and seeing something new, and seeing all the like references and all that, and see how it's gonna combine. Because it also showed like I guess portions of like the future with the Eternals wearing like casual clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's gonna be interesting to see how they play. Maybe they'll show snippets of like the climaxes of the other Marvel movies and them in the background or something.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a way to piece it all together and add more. So I'm pretty excited to see what's gonna happen.
And Jay Bird, how about you, bro?
My first like reaction of it was like I'm kind of with Martin on that. It's like, well, from what we said earlier, it's lesser known, so people can go in with less expectations, and when they go see it, if they go see it, they're surprised, and they can't say like, oh, this, that, or the other thing, complain or whatever. I liked it. It was the beginning. Kind of reminded me of something very Hercules-like, but I mean that's the intention of it all. I got no vibes on it really. I mean, I liked the joke at the end. That was pretty much it. I don't see a lot of like. I see a lot of unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, especially in actors. You know what I mean. Like when I look back at all the films that they've done so far. There's only a handful that they kind of done with unknowns, and so, you know what I mean. And I see a diverse cast. They're coming in like they're the ones who brought civilization to the world.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Like they gave the people who didn't know anything technology or what technology could go for at that point. You know what I mean? You see them kind of hand a blade or like some kind of very high-tech looking knife. It wasn't just like a regular piece of steel or something like that. It looked like something special there, and they built something, I guess. And much to what Ruben said, it's like they probably are going to play into like they've always kind of been here, but then we kind of then want to know. It's like, I think that was the argument with the Captain Marvel movie. It's like, if she was here this entire time, why didn't they help? So I think that's going to be a discussion in the film. Is like, if they've been here, where have they been?
Yeah. This guy's looking way too much like Sebastian Stan now. The more I'm looking at him, bro.
He is, man.
I this is like a little weird, man.
You know who else he looks like, man? I don't know who the actor is, but God, what's his name?
They might as well have just hired him twice, bro. Like.
Yeah. It wouldn't be. You know what, man? In this day and age, it's not a deal breaker to just have this a dude play different characters in the same universe. Look at what they've done with American Horror Story.
Yeah, in the character that he's playing in Jack Kirby's story, that guy's blonde. So I also feel weird about like, why didn't they just go that decision? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
He very much reminds me of like I don't know, like the guy who plays Homelander could have played him or something. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the Jack Kirby titles. Oh, there you go. So here's an image right here. So he's playing the guy in the far right with the blonde hair. You know? Yeah. So
Yes, He-Man.
yeah, he does look like him. You got the Jack Kirbyisms here. You know? But yeah, man, Jack Kirby, man, what a world he creates, huh?
Oh yeah.
Insane, dude. I've read what was the last thing I read from Jack? New Gods? I was reading New Gods, and Miracle Man. Yeah. Those are the last two big Jack Kirby things I've read. But man, his world building. We obviously didn't see out of like the big Jack Kirby books, Eternals is probably the one that I only read maybe like once. And that was a really, 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 really long time ago versus a lot of the other titles that I've read. So, I'm
They
blanking.
just don't catch. I don't know why. They
Yeah.
just don't catch.
What the actual villain in this movie? Do we have? What's the rumor on it? Who's the villain in this film?
From where I was analyzing, it was supposed to be I forgot his name, but he had like a shot to himself. He
Crow?
was supposed to be.
Was it
I think
Crow?
so.
KRO or something like that?
I think it was something like that. That was like the only reference to, because I mean it shows the dude's face, but that's about it. But as I
Yeah.
was analyzing, like researching a little bit more, checking it out, they mentioned that he was going to play one of the people that becomes a villain. So,
Yeah. I hope we see those Celestials in this. The Celestials are the giant
Metal people.
Yeah, the Celestials were like, no, I mean, in my opinion, they were the coolest thing about the Jack Kirby
Yeah.
Eternals story, to be honest.
Didn't they show one in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, but I didn't see nothing in this trailer, dude. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't see any Celestial. But and for those wondering what a Celestial is, here's a beautiful Jack Kirby page. Those monstrous Galactus. So basically, here's the thing: the Celestials are like Galactus, right? But what's the best way to explain it? Let's see. I'll get you guys a little Celestials Galactus. Which, holy shit, man! Talk about a character I want to see on the big screen. I want to see Galactus on the big screen, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
When I first saw him, it reminded me of the Day the Earth Stood Still, the remake. You know, the big metal. You know, like that's what I think it would look like on the big screen.
Yeah. So Celestials are beings from our universe and are a race of cosmic aliens. They're completely different from Galactus. I mean, Galactus calls himself he's the devourer of worlds, right? But there's always been that whole thing about like who's stronger, Galactus or the Celestials? What I remember from the comics, Galactus is stronger than the Celestials, but there's enough Celestials that if like they kind of ganged up on Galactus, there's a possibility, you know? But the Celestials just always had a really cool ass look to them. I always really liked how they looked. And I mean,
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 also a celestial being?
yeah, he's the living planet. Yeah, he's technically I think he is. Yeah. That's a cool character too. Leave it to James Gunn to pull deep cuts like that though, huh? Some of those random characters.
Galactus. Obviously, this is like getting more into speculatory territory. But now with the Celestials having more of a forefront in the Marvel universe, and Fantastic Four being confirmed to be the last film in Phase 4, I think that's a very strong wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, Galactus is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys seen those petitions for like what is it? Emily Blunt and the Krasinski guy? Everyone wants them to be Sue Storm and Reed Richards. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, I saw that. But I saw that oh man, what was her name? The one that wanted to be the Sue Storm, or they want to see her. she wasn't a fan of the superhero thing, so she wasn't really willing to do it.
Yeah. Josh in the chat says he wants that Miracle Man flick. Hell yeah, that'd be sick, dude. Miracle Man would be honestly I like Miracle Man story. Miracle Man and Big Barda, that'd be cool, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. We need to get a new Gods film already underway.
Yeah.
They've been promising it for the longest time. I think animation wise, it's always been there, you know. So
Uh-huh.
I think its time is coming. I don't know if Eternals will help it or motivate it, but it's coming.
Yeah. Buffy Loves Supercat in the chat says if they do reference the Celestials, it might just be the beginning. If they do an introductory scene of how the Eternals came to be. Yeah, so there's a lot that can play off this. Obviously, you know, like Martin said, this isn't like it's not a full-length trailer. We're obviously gonna get a 3-minute one later, right? But yeah. Let's see. Buffy Loves Supercat says Emily Blunt went on the Howard Stern show and she got questioned about the fan casting and said she wasn't a huge fan of comic book movies. Oh, boo-hoo. She killed it for herself right there, man. She got a free gig, bro.
Blunt said this?
Yeah. On
The
Howard
one
Stern.
Who did that Tom Cruise like dead film over and over again. What do you think that was?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that. What was that called? I saw that movie. I forget what it's called.
It doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It's called Looper.
And that's pretty ballsy. I was like, you know, for her to say like, you know, the last like couple of films she's done, you know, is that genre. But I understand it, you know.
Yeah.
They kind of hurt themselves when they do that. You know?
Dude, she just like drove a stake though in it.
It's a very popular like fan choice.
Oh
I
man.
wouldn't be on board with Emily Blunt being Sue Storm. The idea has always been that the Fantastic Four is kind of like Marvel's first family,
Uh-huh.
and it just makes very little sense for me for them to be introduced so late and just have them feel like they've always been a part of that universe. What I've always assumed is if they were to be introduced, they would go the ultimate Marvel Universe route, where they really aged them down. If you guys remember Ultimate Comics, the Fantastic Four were like fresh out of high school in those. So I think that's a possible angle they might want to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh in the chat says her agent was punching air. Shoot, I would be too, man. I'd be like, what are you doing, Emily? You're not supposed to say that.
It's like that's just like let them believe it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to say anything. Don't come out and say you
Yeah.
don't like that.
I know.
Even though, you know, it's like forget the fact that
Yeah.
it's a multi-billion-dollar, you know, business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna jump into another bit of news. This one's like really, really recent. So we got Naomi. We actually have an actual shot of the actress, and it's funny because actually I kind of like this. They played off of the first appearance, the actual comic #1. So they literally give you the same image. Obviously, her hair's different, but they're kind of giving you like that homage to the book itself, you know, but with the real actress. So for those not familiar, Naomi is created by Brian Michael Bendis, and this is if there was such a thing as a fast pass for a superhero. This character definitely got that Disney fast pass. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what do you guys think about Naomi?
I guess I'll start. I have never heard of this character until the announcement.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, I don't want to sound too cynical, but yeah, I do admit it does feel like it's just getting a property that they just really want to push just so it can be successful. I mean, at this point, we know CW shows, even the ones that I would say most people don't like, are still very, very successful. And I feel just having the attribute of CW superhero show, you know, it doesn't guarantee quality, but it does guarantee eyes on the screen. People are going to be like, oh, does it tie into The Flash? Does it tie into Arrow? Does it tie into whatever other 5 other shows they got going on right now?
I'm pretty sure it's gonna tie in.
And it's also another bigger trend in like the CW shows where they really are trying to be more inclusive. So it doesn't surprise me that they pick like a newer, I'm assuming she's African American female hero that they can like market. So that's probably another factor in that decision. Have any of you guys read the Naomi comics?
I read probably the beginnings and just as far as her introduction into Justice League and then Young Justice. I don't remember her origin all that much, but her introduction into Justice League, that's where I first saw her. So I think with that, they may, because her beginning was she like saw Superman fighting in the street. So they could do the Superman and Lois kind of have it connected there, and she'd be maybe a student with the kids, John and I forget, John and Jordan. Awful. Should have gone with Chris. And from there, a Smallville spinoff, or just introduce her in Smallville, the current show, and then let her spin off, because having her on the Flash and then Stargirl and Batwoman, I don't know, like Supergirl's already leaving, right? And the timelines are a little off as well, right? I mean, Superman and Lois are not in the same timeline anymore, right? They're like 18 years ahead, about. So it's a whirlwind with Naomi. She's a coin toss, man. She's been hot-shotted, and because of that, they're gonna have a lot of room to play. It's gonna be kind of like Legends, you know what I mean? They don't have to focus too much on the mythology because there's not that much, you know what I mean? So she's a teen girl, as Martin said, African American. They're trying to motivate themselves to that because that's inclusive, and give her time.
Francisco, did you how much did you read the Naomi stuff in the beginning when it came out?
Some of the stuff, but I don't really remember it, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I was checking out right here that it says the writer for the show is Jill Blankenship, which is the writer for Arrow.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that with that already added on, I'm pretty sure there's definitely going to be a lot of time.
Yeah, well, I mean, Arrow ended, right? So this is her new gig. She just like, she didn't leave the office. They just handed her a new job,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from that picture and from what it looks like, she's trying to like be kind of like a detective, and like newspaper clippings, and who knows, maybe get the trope of her being working at the local paper or something like that, So it looks like she's trying to do something here. Find out where she's from, what she is.
A question for you guys. As someone who doesn't really enjoy the CW superhero shows, how big of a factor to your enjoyment of these shows is the fact that they are interconnected? Like, if this wasn't connected to any of the previous shows, would that be like a turnoff, or would that be like, oh, that's more interesting for me?
I wouldn't even really. It wouldn't really turn me off to it as long as the show is good, because I'll be the first to say that like I thought the Flash show was really good, and like I really wasn't watching any of the other ones. You know what I mean? But I was enjoying the Flash show. So
I think what's important is that all the shows just stand on their own, and there wasn't, kind of like to compare it to the other one, like the NBC Chicago universe. Like every now and again, they will kind of like have characters from every other show kind of just show up for a small supporting moment in that show. That doesn't happen on the CW shows. Like Oliver wouldn't just go to the Flash, show 5 times a year or like 6 times a year, just play like, hey, I was in town. That wouldn't happen. So none of that would have happened. There are their own shows. And to Ruben's point, yeah, you don't need to watch one to get the other. So I don't think it has anything. The fact that they're intertwined maybe is a bonus, but I think they're better when they're separate. You know, let them do their own business.
I'll say this, from those CW shows, the Deathstroke character was badass, dude. That guy was
Oh, yeah.
sick.
They nailed
Yeah.
the oh man, I forget his name, but man, he was on Spartacus, bro.
Yeah, he was definitely one of my favorite actors.
You know,
Francisco, you don't remember his name, Francisco?
Brother.
That guy,
Huh?
what was that guy's name? That guy was good, man.
I don't remember his name, but yeah, I just remember him from Crixus.
Yeah, brother, he's Crixus, man. If you just say Crixus, man, people will know.
Yeah.
You know, he's like related to Jason Momoa or that guy from, you know what I mean? And the Jason Momoa and the guy who's playing Deathstroke now, man, they all got a type. They're all from the DNA.
Oh,
of that.
Manganiello, right?
Yeah, there it is, Manella. Yeah, man. He's, you know, Australian and just this beast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like the whole time, dude, with him and Oliver on the island, man, it was just classic Crixus
Yeah.
all day long. You know, the brothers, and it was just
Yeah,
so
that was
damn.
that guy was
so damn-
cast really good. Yeah, that was a badass Deathstroke.
I guess I'm gonna go like Ruben. It's not really a turn off, but it is like fun just to be watching the show and then like, oh hey, like little Easter egg or reference pops up, but then
Yeah.
you continue with the show on. So
It's like the Super Bowl, man. You know, you don't have to see all the football teams play at the same time, but when they come together, it's a good match. You know what I mean?
Buffy Love Super Cat says Manu Bennett. That is his name, Manu
Oh.
Bennett. There we go. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I guess more of the point I was trying to make is since this is such, for lack of a better word, a fringe superhero, that maybe it would need to really lean into that CW universe in order to bump it up a bit.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. You know, shows every day. You know, I mean, either stand on their own or they don't. You know what I mean? So it'd be nice if she would have that support. You know, it's like, oh hey, Cisco's there for give her some kind of technology, but that won't be the be all end all of the show. If it falls flat, it falls flat. If it rises up, it'll be on its own merits. So
Let me see. A CGC 9.8 of Naomi 1. What is it going for right now? Let's find out. Ooh, it went up.
of
So,
course,
We're looking at $325 for a 9.8 in that cover that you see there. There's a cover B, which is not as good. And that one's going for like around $179. I had a cover B and I sold it for like $70, maybe like a year and a half ago. So that one I probably should have held on to. But I know I have a Naomi 1 and a 9.8 in a box. I know that. Yeah, I think I got
love-hate
two of them.
relationship for the multiple covers, man. Just love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I remember I had kept 2 copies and I sent them in to get graded and they got 9.8s. But my reasoning for that is because Brian Michael Bendis is he was really passionate about this project in the beginning, and I know that even his daughter, he has an adopted daughter, if I'm not mistaken, that I think is African American. And I don't know her name, but I felt like this was going to be a very personal thing for him, you know? So, anytime a creator that big, really gets heavily involved with it and is passionate, you know they're gonna go full all out with it. And so, honestly, I'm more interested in seeing the first episode of this, because I think there's gonna be more passion in the creation behind it. Because I don't think Brian Michael Bendis is gonna let it slide. You know, he's not gonna let it go half-ass. Versus like what they're gonna do with Riri Williams, which I'm sure is gonna be cool, but I don't know. I think there's more passion behind this, whereas on the Riri stuff, I think there's too many hoops that they're gonna have to jump through with that. Because if my understanding is the creators behind Riri are not involved on that show, they're just taking the character they created. Whereas here, I find it hard to believe that Brian Michael Bendis is not directly involved somehow. You know what I mean? He's got to have some kind of say in this. He has to. He completely created this on his own, you know?
yeah.
So, and it's a very personal thing to him. So, I'm definitely gonna watch it, check it out, see how it is, and then judge it after I see it. But shoot, yeah, there you go, Naomi.
And again, brother, because she's a very new character. Again, they don't have like 20 years of material, 40 years of material like some of these other characters that they've introduced to go off of. So to have the creator involved, it would behoove of them to have, the creator involved, so they can just have some ideas. It's like no one will know that character better than his creator. So definitely, he's got to have a hand in it.
Buffy Love Supercat says Cisco won't be able to give out any more tech since Carlos Valdez is leaving the Flash along with Tom Cavanaugh this season. Oh man, they are really rounding out, aren't they?
They're going home, brother.
Yeah, that's why we're seeing. You know what? I don't even think Naomi's going to be enough. Don't be surprised we see some other show. Watch.
Dude, I'm just prepping. I feel like Static is going to come out soon for this.
Right? Dude.
I'm going to just say it really quick, guys. Let me just put it out there. Do we think there is going to be in the years to come, a more aggressive movement to get these shows, just put them on officially HBO Max, get them off CW, or do you think CW's home?
Man.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Because, the CW is basically, it's also their own thing going on, but regardless, it's still it's in a sense connected.
I think
go ahead.
The CW is gonna keep the I don't want to say it's not G-rated, but the PG-ish, PG-13 stuff, and then the really mature stuff like Watchmen, right, will go over at HBO Max, and anything else that they come out. But like for instance, let's say we get a Lobo show, which that has to happen. Lobo has to come sometime, right?
Yeah.
Because he's basically DC's Deadpool, right? I can't see that on CW done well.
No.
That's probably a more mature thing that has to be done on HBO Max, right? I would think.
That's where I would see it too.
Yeah. So there's room for, I think, different properties in both places, Naomi can't be a rated R thing, right? Naomi's totally for the youth,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not saying that it has to be rated R, but there are those things about with Titans, you know what I mean? Obviously, that's rated R, but there's so many things that are just TV ratings are so weird now because I can't see them. They go the way let's say The Walking Dead would go. You know what I mean? As far as violence or the ability to actually go full board as kicking ass. You know what I mean? Do you think that plays a part into how good a show is? It's violence meter or special effects towards the fight scenes?
I think the violence meter that was very specific on those ones for that DC Universe app, which I can't even get started on that one, but I was pretty upset at that because I actually paid for it. And then if you paid for it, the next year that came around, they charge you the same thing, but no shows. So it's wait a minute, you want me to pay the same amount, but I'm not going to get any of the shows now, and all the shows are moving over to HBO Max? It felt like you're getting ripped off, dude.
Oh, yes. I mean, it just was. I remember my cousin was just so amped about DC Universe, and I just didn't see it, brother. It just was because they didn't have anything that wasn't already on Netflix. And dollars to donuts, more often than not, you own a lot of the movies that are on there. Let's be honest.
It had something. Something that was worth the watch, and that was the pilot for the Aquaman spinoff, the Smallville series.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's true. But I think wasn't that
dude,
one of the DVD
the Swamp Thing show was the shit, bro. I love that thing.
I'm not hating on all the shows that happened on there, dude. I mean, you could watch them, but other than just a couple key to, it was kind of my arguments towards the Mandalorian until the Marvel universe kicked in there. It's what was the drive? Because once you're done with those shows, what's the drive to keep you there? Mm-hmm. I don't see it because there's not enough variety. Was my argument. That was my argument. Not enough variety.
Yeah, to justify what you're paying, right? Yeah.
Yeah, to satisfy, because I love DC all day long. Love Disney all day long, but I don't want to pay $25 a month just for DC and just for You know what I mean? As far as watching, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lord knows we've spent enough on DC merchandise.
Yeah, my girl and I watched that Swamp Thing show and we freaking loved it. It was so good, and so much to the fact that like we were disappointed when the season 2 was like not gonna come, and it was like, oh, because that first season was so freaking good, you know. And like I liked it, but and then the other shows, what? Oh, Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol was pretty good too, man.
Doom Patrol was really good, man.
Yeah. People forget
Major
about that
thing-
one. Yeah.
No, they don't. It's just, you know, it's just been too long since the gaps, and I don't think it gets enough. It's not underwhelming. What's the term? It's just under the radar, very under the radar.
Yeah.
So, but
Or
it's
watch
there.
this. Watch Doom Patrol. I think apart from Daredevil, it's probably the best live action superhero show I've ever seen. I adore Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
I had this theory for a while after HBO Max was announced, and they were doing that thing where it's not just the HBO programming, but they categorize other things as well. They have anime, they have AMC classic movies, they have Cartoon Network shows, and they have DC stuff. So my original thought was that all the DC universe users were going to get absorbed into the HBO Max service. This came to my mind when I saw that their biggest shows, which were Titans and Harley Quinn, which were supposed to be like the big DC Universe exclusives, were now on HBO Max for everyone. So I thought, okay, no one's watching them on DC Universe. They're just going to jump ship and they're going to go on HBO Max. Is DC Universe still a thing? Is that still a streaming service?
Yeah, you can read comics on there. Back
That's all it
issues.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an archival database. So, like, if you're, again, like I was telling you guys, man, like, you know, it's just years and years of material for the film studios to use now. But, like, you know, that's what I told you earlier in the green room, is that Buddy said it's just advertisement now. And I'll go, then you're not reading it right, man. You know, so it's good if you want to read, like, you know, back issues, man, to be familiarized, you know, with stuff. Like, if they do a New Gods, you know what I mean, movie, if you want to catch up on like its proper origins, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, but
it's not everything's on there.
Yeah, but the problem is the value's not really there because Marvel has Marvel Unlimited, and like
Yeah.
Marvel Unlimited literally costs like almost the same thing. But Marvel Unlimited, when you subscribe, you get 2 exclusive comics, you get an action figure, exclusive Marvel Legend, which sells for like your admission price to begin with. So you basically get the subscription for free, and then you get all the Marvel comics. And then you get invited to like VIP events throughout the year. And DC charges like the same thing, but you get nothing now. You just get the books, which you already get with the Marvel one. And that's just a shame, dude. Like, they need to like get on board. I mean, they don't even give you a free T-shirt or nothing. Like, you don't get anything, dude. You know what I mean?
It's like Jaybird says too. It's only the back issues too, because I was reading some of it when I had it, and once you get to the newer stuff, it's whatever is new, a new comic right now that you're reading. It won't be on DC Universe until a year from now.
Yeah. Dude, that is so long. Dude, that is so long for that.
I mean, like I can get it up to date on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There, you know, just and it doesn't even have to be the thing. I'll just read the review.
There's literally websites that like have some, I don't know who does it, but man, they spend there all the time. And they upload like every page from the comics and shit, and you can like read them like PDF. Like, granted, the websites give you bugs and shit if you're on the wrong ones and shit, but like they're free. They're out there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course not. We all stay on the proper internet services, and we pay for our television. Yeah. Yes. We would never share subscriptions or go to VidMan on our cell phones.
And then, lastly, before we get off of this topic and we get into the final segment, which is the comic book of the week, we're gonna touch up on this a little bit. Buffy Love Supercat says Netflix, Apple, and Amazon were all interested in Disney, but the rumor is we're interested in DC. I'm sorry, but the rumor is Disney is looking to buy the DC rights. And holy shit, if that happens. It is we're talking about the fish that ate the whole sea, right? Yeah.
The Great White, yeah.
Yeah, let's hear you guys a quick little rants on this before we tune out, because this is not like this is like incredibly possible, right? Like if they want it, they can do it. We know that. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like if they don't do it, it's because they didn't want to like it was too easy, and they're just like they let someone else take it up. But the reality
Like,
is they could buy DC if they wanted to, right?
what was the original price when they bought Marvel before they went? What was it? What was it, like 4 billion or 9 billion?
Let's see.
I want to say it was 9.
What did Disney buy Marvel for?
I think it was like 9 billion, bro, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was that high.
4 or 9?
4. It says 4.
There it is. See, 4. Okay. $4 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was in 2008 or 2009, bro.
And you know DC's not worth that much either, dude.
Well, the
Shots fired.
blasphemy. Okay. Yeah, man. Like they have made that back in spades 5 times.
Oh,
you know, and they'll just keep on making that money, bro. So like, if they wanted to, they could just offer. But here's the question, though: does DC need to sell?
Yeah.
Or do they want to sell?
I mean, we need them to exist, right?
Yeah.
No, I think their relationship with Warner Brothers is strong enough right now. And Warner Brothers being like one of the last few like big studios other than Disney, I don't see any reason why DC would or even should sell. And apart from that, I'm getting into a little bit more like the logistics of it, but I don't think Disney is interested in DC. It's not on brand anymore. Maybe like 20 years ago, but now since DC has made even a bigger effort to differentiate itself from Marvel, I just don't think it fits in the Disney brand.
Yeah, you know what? Right now, check this stat out. Avengers Endgame grossed $2.7 billion. One movie, dude. One movie made more than half of what they spent on the company. Isn't that insane?
The total amount of the Marvel movies was like reported at over 22 point something billion dollars of the Marvel movies since Disney bought Marvel. So again, 5 times essentially what they spent. And it took less than a decade.
Yeah.
They made their money back that first year, but dude, they just made their money back.
What do you think? What do you think DC's worth?
You know what, bro? It's kind of, this is just me, the fan, being and saying this, priceless.
Uh-huh.
No, but like the only other time I've seen something like this was back in 2001 when Vince McMahon bought WCW. It wasn't that, it wasn't worthless. It was just like what they were going to sell. And it's just, the rights to these characters and stuff like that. That's what they were looking to sell. So in essence, it's not going to be worth a lot. You know what I mean? It'll probably, go ahead.
Don't get me, look, Francisco too, him and I, Martin, we are all massive DC fans. I mean, I'm all Zatanna, Swamp Thing, Blue Beetle, you name it, Batman, that's my shit, But like,
I'll say this.
What is the value? Like, what is really the value of it? Is it like a $2 billion company? Is that all that someone needs to pay to own it? You know what I mean?
No, man. I think DC is worth more because let's face it, Marvel never had as strong as a position as DC has. It wasn't until Disney bought their asses that they became masters of the universe, at least on film. DC has had a television presence since the 1960s, you know what I mean? And movie presence, through those mediums. So the merchandise alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, with the Superman and Batman, now Wonder Woman and, Arrow and all that kind of stuff. It's got to be more than, than what they were selling Marvel. Because again, Marvel was on their ass, when they were bought. And they were bought in 2009. That was when the DC had just come out with the Dark Knight, which, crushed Iron Man, even though Iron Man was, the greatest thing at that point. You know what I mean? But I'll say it, you know, it never got back to that point of the first Iron Man movie. Like, you know, that's
Yeah,
just my
I remember really enjoying that first Iron Man movie a lot. Actually, that was cool, man.
Yeah, it was a great film, and I don't think he ever got back to that point until Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it was that dark seriousness and stuff like that. You know, and so again, you know, comparatively speaking, where was Marvel at when they made the purchase? Where is DC at now?
Yeah.
And I think it's a higher value, more than $4 billion.
Oh, definitely. And there's two major reasons why. And there's no way DC would sell, I think, for anything less than $9 billion. Number one, when Marvel sold Disney, that's when DC also realized, oh snap, we're not a comic book company. We're like a media company now. Movies is where we should be. Like that's where the value is. And once Marvel sold inadvertently, that also increased value without them even realizing it. Or maybe they didn't realize it, but I think most people don't understand how just Marvel being bought for $4 billion just automatically makes it worth that much more.
Well, that leads to this statement, dude. When that happened, Marvel didn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. You know, it's just a name. It's not the culture. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can say like, oh, it exists, but it doesn't. It's Disney. It's, you know, people are constantly like Marvel versus DC. It's Disney versus DC, or more appropriately, Disney versus Warner Brothers, and you know what I mean? Disney versus everybody at this point, because, you know, they even made talks about like Disney may want to buy WWE. You know, you're right. You know, Ruben, it's just like, if they want it, you know what I mean? They can just offer you the money, or they could straight up somehow like, you know, just get up in there and take you. You know what I mean? Just swallow you up, man. A perfect storm situation. But to Martin's point, there has to be a reason to sell. And, you know, after it's, how can I, it's just that thing. It's like, oh, you know, my neighbor sold his house for, you know, 200,000. Let's just say that right there, right? And then they saw what they did with it, and they made $22 billion. So that was like the mistake now. You know what I mean? They saw what they did if they bought it. So it's like, hell no, keep it. You know what I mean? Why lose the potential revenue for a fraction of the potential?
Funny thing is, like right now, Martin, you said they won't sell for less than $9 billion. Like even if they did that, Disney would be like, all right, and they'll still buy it. Like it's not even nothing to them, you know? Yeah.
100 billion, and they would be like, yeah, all right, whatever. We'll get it back in like 10 years.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, Disney just.
I agree with Jaybird about the whole like, because they've been, every time they come out with a movie, it always hits. Like Marvel has these continuous, Disney has these continuous movies coming out, and they're great, they're fun, they're enjoyable. But then when DC comes out with something, you're just like, dude, that's gonna hit, and it does hit. It's great, and it's a fun watch. But also throughout this past, like, I guess decade, they've also been a little low on like the comic stories and all that.
Yeah.
You know, with the New 52, Convergence, and all that going on. But right now, the new era of the what's it called, Infinite Frontier.
Yeah.
Every comic is hitting a good story. Everything is going great. So they might be doing a rising comeback with the comic business going along, and then being inspired more by the Scott Snyder's Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously they're not going to do more Scott Snyder stuff. They might not. They might will. But regardless, they're going to be coming out with more great movies.
Yeah.
And, you know, not to tease, you know, I know, Ruben, we talked about it earlier. We won't go into it. But, you know, the Cape Crusader coming out, you know what I mean? Again, there is always, their bread and butter is always, you know, that well of animation and television, because it's just, their characters, this is my opinion, DC characters, man, are too layered to just be told in one damn film. You know, you can't get it all out in 2 hours. You know what I mean? There's so much more complex than Marvel characters, or what they've allowed Marvel characters to be. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of both, you know, but, you know, I'd rather get 7 years out of a character, you know what I mean, than just like one, you know, and something like 200 episodes, you know, that's a hell of a well to drink from, you know?
So with that, we're gonna jump right into our comic book pick of the week. And this one is an advanced pick just because some people are not aware of it. But once you're aware of it, it'll open your eyes a little bit to kind of something that a trend that might be starting. We tend to see a lot of variant cover trends. We've seen that like David Nakayama has those really cool ones he's doing with like the negative shoot, what did he call it, Francisco? He told us.
The color bleeds?
Yeah,
Or-
color bleeds, right? Is that what he said? Yeah. Yeah, it was like the color bleed covers. Because we had David on here on the show one time, and he went over it with us. And I'm seeing this with JonBoy Meyers art actually now. This is the second time he's done this, and nobody does it for only 2 times and calls it quits. I think we're gonna see more of these covers. And this is Red Sonja, Black, White, and Red #2. And this is an advanced solicit, so you're not too late. This actually is not out. This is more of like a pre-order right now. But I'm gonna show you guys the
just started this week today actually.
yeah, so see that Berserker 1 in 1000 variant that came out is the same style. So we're starting to see a little pattern here. And now we got a Red Sonja one like that. So I call these the Vigo covers because I'm a Ghostbusters fan, and it reminds me of the Vigo painting from the movie where the painting comes to life and stuff. And yeah, so he's doing a homage, and it's funny because he's basically homaging his own stuff, so he's creating things. So don't be surprised if you see other characters that start getting this treatment. It's almost like a portrait kind of thing, and it looks great. And I think it's gonna if he keeps on with these, I think the value. Unfortunately, the Berserker one's way up there because it's a 1 in 1000, so it's expensive, and usually the only ones that exist are the ones that are signed by Keanu Reeves or JonBoy himself. But this Red Sonja one, there's gonna be a virgin cover that's like $50, something like that, and then there's gonna be just the regular one with trade dress, that is like legit just with $3.99. You know what I mean? So, that's a cool Red Sonja cover. And so yeah, this is the comic book pick of the week, mainly just because catching a trend right now here early before you see it on other YouTube channels, and you were like, oh, we talked about it right here first. This is the second one, and I could see it going. He did this for a reason. So here's the trend. Who knows what other character we'll see this done with. But a lot of people are hiring him for variants, and he's doing a lot of work. And this is, by the way, this is not a variant. This is a full release Red Sonja cover. So like I said, you can literally get this for $3.99. But do you guys like JonBoy's art?
Now.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah, dude.
What other yeah, Francisco, you're familiar with his work. Go on, dude.
I know he did some of the Bloodshot, right? He did a Bloodshot cover.
He did, yeah. He did.
We actually have the standee at the store.
Oh yeah. Yeah, was that kind of in this style? Not yet. This wasn't completely like in this style yet, but it was kind of like aiming in that direction, huh?
Yeah.
Like the portrait kind of thing.
A lot of his style's it's got like this very like strong how just like you said, it has that animated feel like.
Yeah.
He's very vivid colors, man. He does some great backlighting, you know what I mean? It looks like stills from a show, man. It just looks so, I don't want to say alive because it's cartoon, but it's bright, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so damn good.
Yeah.
It's probably, I mean, there's a darker trend to it, but that's not bad at all. You know, it gives it, there's just a whole nother, I don't know, life behind it, man. There's just like something like so small as like the shine that comes off a blade, that just makes it look that much good,
It's what it's making us all do right now. Speechless.
There you go.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh, I gotta have this!" And as I was like looking for it, I was like, "Please don't be 1,000! Please don't be 1,000!"
Yeah. No, regular release. If you want the virgin one, it's like 50, which is still nice,
Really
But
good.
yeah, I think that's cool too because you don't have to. The version's like a straight solid release, so you don't have to like. It's not a ratio cover. You know what I mean? But yeah, there is obviously more detail on the Red Sonja one though when you look at it side by side with the Berserker one.
She's pretty conservative looking in this issue compared to other issues that I've seen
Oh
her
yeah,
in.
that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah.
Yeah, you know, she's kind of wrapped up in, you know what I mean, a thing, you know, and not bad, not anything. It's just something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, her blade's right there, you know what I mean, covered in blood. It's just, again, you know, it's what I say, man, it's that detail that he just makes everything kind of like, it's, you know what, man, he focuses a lot more on the background of the character, not just the character.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, because actually, I didn't even notice this till right now, but the Berserker's character on his left shoulder, he's got arrows in him that like literally in his body. I didn't even see that at first.
Yeah, man, it's just, that's what I'm talking about. Like, just the background of it. You know what I mean? That over the arching, you know, panway. Oh yeah, the arrows are right there. That's pretty cool. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
He pays attention
the
to
lighting.
Yeah, he just it's almost as if he does the background first and then kind of like puts the character kind of like just scans them in or something like that. That's what it looks like, bro. You know?
Uh-huh.
Just looks so good.
Yeah, Josh says, did he do the carbon fiber? Yes, he did. Yeah, so Josh, you actually have a JonBoy Meyers cover. He did that carbon fiber Bloodshot. So there was a Valiant exclusive variant ratio cover where it was supposedly a bulletproof comic book. It was like carbon fiber and all this other stuff that came out years ago. But yeah, you're correct, Josh, in the chat. That is JonBoy Meyers. Yeah, so yeah, cool, man. So yeah, that is our comic book pick of the week. Recommend that. You can catch that right now before that blows up later. You heard it here first, because I know no one else is bringing this up yet. Plus, this is just released today. But whether you want the Virgin cover or you just want the regular one, I know the regular one, if these variants go off, that $4 price tag, you know, will double into 8, will go to 12, and so on and so forth. And you know how the routine goes once these things pick up. But just a heads up in case you want to. And also, if you ever feel overwhelmed on like when covers kind of start trending, you miss out on some. We're kind of in the beginning of here. Although that Berserker one is expensive though, but yeah, it's cheap to get the Red Sonja one off the bat. But
this is my only JonBoy cover that I've got. This Joker and Punchline one.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, he did some.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's awesome. Which Joker issue is that, man?
This is Joker 1.
Oh, I have the one where it's just the solid green one, bro. Which variant is that?
Oh, that one's actually. It's I saw that it was going for like $30 now or like $50. I don't know. That one went up.
The solid green one?
Yeah.
No shit. Huh. That's again, man. Like, why? I don't know. I don't understand the pricing.
Market's crazy right now, dude. The market's crazy right now.
So you see, again, that is why DC will not sell. Look how much money they can do. Just be like, raise the price $300 on each issue, and they will pay.
Yeah, the market is nuts. And with that, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining us today. It's a great show. Shoot, we're about to hit we're getting close to an hour. Wow, so that was fast. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I want to thank our special guest today, starting to the right. Martin, where can we find you, bro?
You can find me nowhere. I have no social media. I just use them to communicate. It's okay. I'm not here for the clout.
Awesome, dude. Hey, man, thank you for joining us, though, man. You have a vast comic book knowledge as well. Also, you have a vast knowledge on Spider-Man. I was reminiscing to that day when we saw the first appearance of Venom in 299, and we started laughing hysterically in the shop.
Spider-Man fans, look what I just got in today. Really excited.
Oh, let's see it.
Spider-Man
A pickup.
Ooh,
Hobgoblin.
Nice.
Hobgoblin.
Oh man, I got a horror story about that book, man. I got a horror story about that book. What grade is yours in? Pretty nice?
Oh, I'm not a professional grader. If I had to guess, this is probably like between a 7 and an 8.
Beautiful.
Really
That's still good.
Tattoos. So.
Okay, so that's my horror story. Dude, I sent that book out, and I was like, can it get pressed or not? Because I knew about the tattoos, right? So I asked that to CGC. I was like, don't do it if you can't. All right, don't do it if you can't. Like, if I was annoying and telling them, nobody replied back to me, right? I swear this thing was like a 9.8, man. I paid a lot for it. They pressed it They never asked me. They never gave me a few. I was like, all right, if you think you could press it, right? They pressed it. That thing came back an 8. But only because on the grader notes it says ink bleed through pages. It was because they heat pressed the tattoos and the tattoos went through the pages, dude. So they ruined my book. And all they
Wouldn't
did.
they know, bro? Wouldn't they be
Dude,
the ones
that's
to
what
know
I'm
that
saying.
shit going in?
That's what I'm saying, man. And they ruined my book. They destroyed. I got it back, and I got an 8.0 when I paid for like a 9.8, and like the tattoos bled through like it was like an iron, dude. They just like ironed them through the pages like a giant plancha and shit, you know?
Damn.
Like, yeah, and it ruined my book. And all they did when you send the books in, you have to put the insurance, like how much is your book worth or whatever. And unfortunately, on that book, I learned my lesson there because I put like, I don't know, I put like 99 or something. You know what I mean? And so they only gave me like $99 credit because that was what the insurance was, right? But like, I mean, I spent like, dude, I spent like, I don't know. I don't even remember what I spent. It was like $500 or $600 on it because I really thought it was a 9.8, you know? At the time. Yeah. And I dished it out and I lost it, man. I lost out. I was a huge loss. I was probably one of the biggest losses I ever had, honestly. And
That's
yeah.
the grading game. Big losses, big wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all just mistake on them. And yeah, so if you guys have that book, heads up, you cannot you can't get that sucker pressed. If it has the tattoos in it, you can't get it pressed, you know. So if you send it off to like someone else, like an independent presser, if they don't know about the tattoos inside, they will ruin your book. Just giving you a heads up, you know. Yeah.
Learning the cautionary tales
Yeah.
at metahumans.com.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah. But and Francisco, where are we gonna find you, brother?
You can find me on Instagram at the.boyblunder.
Awesome. And Jose?
You can find me at jbird91939. And for those fans of the Justice League, you know what those numbers are. And you can find me just wandering around the city every now and again.
Awesome. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm at Ruben Nahara, and follow us on at Metahumans Comics on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. On Twitter, we're Metahumans Comic because the S adds too many letters to the length of it. But you can find us on there. And on Sundays at 6, every Sunday, we do a live auction on our Instagram, and we follow that up on Facebook. And yeah, you catch us here next Monday. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I appreciate you all, everyone in the chat. Shout out to all of you. And stay safe. Have a great week. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff coming for us to talk about next Monday because they're starting to get the ball rolling on all these reveals right now, you know? So thank you, everyone. And without further ado, good night and stay safe. Bye.